What's up guys, my name is Tom, welcome back to another video. Here back to my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. Today's time for episode 6 for the Spanish Grand Prix. If you haven't watched the previous episode, I highly recommend to go check it out. It was at the Dutch Grand Prix, the first time in this channel racing at the Zandvoort circuit, and we have just 2 days before hitting the track, and I decided to invest in the weight training on our second driver, Luca Giotto, and that is going to help him out when it comes to pace, because at the moment Giotto is not that strong, to be honest, so we needed to start invest a little bit more in him, and hopefully still in this season he's going to score some points. I think is the main target for Giotto at the moment is just score at least like 5 points during this season. If it doesn't do that, maybe I'm going to drop him out, but this is early stages in this My Team Career Mode. I bought an upgrade for the chassis for the Aero, which we are struggling a little bit at the moment, and it's going to be a rear wing upgrade, then a weight distribution upgrade for the chassis department. Now we have to start to think about our power unit, yes, because the wear is starting to kicking a little bit, not as fast as I was expecting, so it was a bit of a relief. We've been investing in the durability in these last few days. Talking about durability, the ICU durability upgrade is not ready, so it failed, but it should be ready in the next episode if I'm not wrong. And we have the Aero upgrade just ready for this weekend Spanish Grand Prix at Barcelona. We're going to have some rain, as you can see, in the closing stages of the race, so that promises to spice things up, but things are looking really good, especially in the last 2 races which we finished on the points. In the performance chart, we can't overtake Haas, but we are getting closer and closer to the midfield, the likes of the Alfa Romeos and the Renaults. So we're not gaining on the Haas, but we're gaining on the midfield. So I think that's good sign. Williams still with some distance behind us, but here we are on practice, and we have a Mercedes stop in the middle of the track. It is Lewis Hamilton, and it says that he's out of the practice session. So I wonder what happened. I know already what happened. You can see in the title, it was a crash during the practice session. Yes, oh, Hamilton turning to the McLaren of Lando Norris. I think it is Lando Norris, because I think it was getting blue flags, and Hamilton turning to Norris. That was a very bizarre crash. Never had a crash in my F1 career mode history where someone was out of a practice session, so that was really peculiar. But that was 100% Hamilton's fault. But despite that, Lando Norris is going to have a 5-place grid penalty for Sunday. So definitely it's very unfair for Norris. Definitely the favoritism to the FIA playing in Hamilton's hands. And yeah, that was a really strange episode, I can say, in this practice session. Never had or witnessed a crash in a practice session in an F1 game. This was my first time. But here we are in qualifying. Pace has been really good. I'm feeling well with the car and with the setup. So I'm expecting not big things like going into Q2 like we did in Zandvoort, but maybe getting close, at least beating the 2 Hasses. That would be really good. But here we are on our first lap, not taking the best line out of turn 3, but my first lap is always full of mistakes. I always like to take it easy, but when I'm taking it easy, I sometimes make some mistakes. So the first lap is definitely a banker as we're going through the last corner. The chicane has been revamped in the ECS game, so it's more satisfying to do. It was an absolute nightmare on F1 2019, the previous F1 games, and we set a 117.8, and that is enough just to put us into P21, improving the 2 sectors, but then we missed the first apex in the first chicane, and that compromised the run for the rest of the lap, and we didn't improve, unfortunately, and we are still in P21. But now in the second lap we're improving. We didn't improve the first sector, surprisingly. It was really awful. The line on turn 3 was really bad, but we'll see if we can get some time using all the track as you can, and we're going to just hit the 100 brake mark. It's really hard this corner in this Tom Motorsport car. I just can't get the car turned in. In the practice session I was really struggling to hit the apex on that happen, maybe due to the overspeed and the help of the DRS, I don't know, but I really struggled with that corner. But that corner apart, I'm really feeling good in this circuit. Now we nailed the chicane and we're gaining 2 tenths. It's going to be maybe 3 tenths as we go through the last corner, flat out open the DRS, and we're going to cross the line, and it is enough just to move 1 place, and we are ahead of Nicolas Latifi and our teammate Luca Giotto. But I'm still going to try to improve the time, because I think there's some time left on the table on that lap. If I remember, as you can see, through turn 1 we just gained 2 tenths, so just see how bad turn 1 was on my first lap. So things are looking really good for us. We're improving over Giovinazzi's time, but we're going a little bit too deep. We step on the grass, we're spinning round, and that's the end of qualifying for us, because we carried too much speed into the long right-hander. And we're going to watch the replay, but it's really clear driver error. I put the throttle too early, went on the grass, and yeah, basically lost all the sense of grip, and we hit the wall slightly. I think we had slight wing damage, but as you can see, yeah, it was a stupid mistake. I was trying to push as hard as I could, but yeah, it didn't pay off, and that's our qualifying coming to an early end. We managed to not disturb anyone's lap, so there's no controversy when it comes to yellow flags, but I'm showing some angles just to see how embarrassing it was. Maybe not embarrassing, I was pushing the car, sometimes it happens, but Vettel topping the session in qualifying Q1, so that was pretty impressive, and we've been demoted in one position because Giotto improved that time. So we're going to start way down the order in the Spanish Grand Prix. Not a positive qualifying, we've been beaten by a teammate and both Hasses and George Russell, so we have a lot of work to do if we want to get a positive result in the race. So without further ado, let's go to Sunday, the Spanish Grand Prix.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. The Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya then, a high-speed 2.89-mile circuit which demands an efficient downforce package and bravery on the part of the driver, especially through the blind right of turn 9, which we might just see taken flat this weekend. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective. Let's start with Racing Point. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Max Verstappen, and Sainz, Perez, Ricciardo, Albon, and Esteban Ocon. Norris, Kvyat, Pierre Gasly, and Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Kevin Magnussen, and Luca Giotto. Russell, Stroll, they've taken a grid penalty. Thomas and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Thanks, Jeffrey. That is a bit too ambitious considering where we are starting, but you never know. We're going to have some rain in the mix in the closing stage of this Grand Prix. We're going to start on the mediums. We're going to dress a brand new set of hats, but maybe who knows, the rain can come a little bit early, and we're going just to make one stop from the mediums to need mediums. We'll see in these next 33 laps of the Spanish Grand Prix. 5 red lights. And it slides out, and away we go, Stroll way down the other because of a grid penalty, and it was a good start against the Racing Point, and we are already alongside of George Russell, as you can see, getting some slipstream of Luca Giotto, and we are kind of boxed in, so we can't do anything, but Giotto is going to dive down the inside. Massive dive on our teammate, great stuff as well for Stroll, that dives on the inside. So, and Giotto gains a lot of place, as you can see, as we find ourselves side by side with Nicholas Latifi, and now he's in last place of this Grand Prix, and we have a lot of free wide action, as you can see. And our teammate is in front, going at it with the Alfa Romeos, I believe. One of them is Kimi Räikkönen. We have Giovinazzi ahead in another free wide train. He's in the Haas sandwich. Let's see if we can take the pieces of that. We're forced to take a little bit of an evasive action because we've been kind of brake checked by the Alfa Romeo of Giovinazzi, and that invites to George Russell to go side by side with us. But we maintain the position. We are in our starting position at the moment. We just gained one place because we started in P21, but a great slingshot through the fast right-hander, and we overtook Roman Grosjean. Now we can try to go round the side of Antonio Giovinazzi. As you can see, they lost so much time, and we managed to carry a lot of momentum. There's some yellow flags, as you can see. Giotto going sideways, and I think I saw an end plate flying off, and I believe he's of the Racing Point of Lance Stroll. So his first stint is going to be an absolute nightmare because it's going to be really slow from now on, and we've been brake checked by Kevin Magnussen, as you can see. So once again, a little bit of controversy after the Chinese Grand Prix where we made contact in the first lap. But in a nutshell, I think the start has been pretty positive. But yeah, then we have some yellow flags. Someone is going slowly behind us, and it is the Alfa Romeo of Antonio Giovinazzi, as you can see. And this Spanish Grand Prix comes to an early end. It just lasted one lap, and we're going to carry on. But now we have, I think we're going to have a safety car, if I'm not wrong. Yes, I remember that we had a safety car, and there he is, full course yellow. Antonio Giovinazzi is out of the race, and this is not going to help us out in the strategy because we have a long way to go in these medium tires. I forgot to mention, you're going to see just briefly below, I don't know if you guys saw, our gearbox is in 65%. I think it started to get some issues around 70%, so hopefully we don't have issues with the gearbox, and if we have, we lose a gear that is not really important around this circuit. But I decided to take the pain and a little bit of a risk, and the software run, as you can see, and Stroll is not pitting, so that is pretty impressive and silly because he has front wing damage. Everyone's going to be packed, so he's going to be a sitting duck once the safety car gets out of the way, and we have green flags. But at the moment it is Valtteri Bottas that leads the Grand Prix. Hamilton pitted, and you can see the mini-map that is behind all this train as well for the McLarens and one of the Renaults, and we're getting ready for the start. So we've been promoted to P14, Kyoto in P12, so everything is looking good for Tom Motorsport, and we get an awful exit out of the last corner thanks to the cold tires. But thankfully Grosjean is not gaining that much, and Magnussen pulled away, so we have a lot of work to do if we want to overtake, because now in this game it's really hard to overtake because the TR is so much powerful comparing with the last year's game. But we're starting to getting closer and closer to Magnussen thanks to our teammate Luca Kyoto, because he's stuck behind the Stroll, but Stroll is actually pulling away of Luca, just to see how slow our car is and maybe how slow Luca it is in this Sunday's race. But as you can see, the sky is starting to get a little bit darker and darker, so maybe the rain can come a little bit late, and we have a strategy change from Jeff. We're going to stick with his proposal, but if the rain comes a little bit earlier, I'm thinking in staying out and switch to these mediums, to the intermediates straight away, and we can save one stop, and maybe we can score some points in this race, because we are very close from the magical P10. We're in P12 at the moment. It is going to be P14 because some guys have stopped. But if we can save one stop, I think we can pull a strategic master stroke in this Grand Prix, and that would be really good. And we are carrying some good momentum in terms of pace in these last few races. And there is Lance Stroll confirming that he had wing damage in front wing, and basically he's going to be in no man's land for the rest of the race. But like I said, the rain can change things, and maybe we can see Stroll once again in the later stages of this Grand Prix. Setting personal best, so I'm trying to push as hard as I can, but at the same time I'm thinking, okay, I must save the tires, because maybe I'm going to spend a lot of laps than I was expecting in this set of boots. But at the same time, we're gaining time on these guys. Now Kyoto is in P9, so for the first time our teammate is on the point. So I'm really happy. But will he maintain that position? Let's look at the tier that we were getting and the oversteer. I'm trying to push as hard as I can to try to get a move on Kevin Magnussen, and Alexander Albon is out of the race, and that is going to trigger the virtual safety car. So no safety car, and Albon I think is just ahead, and we've been promoted one more position, and we are into the point of this Grand Prix. So a double place finish for Tom Motorsport today. I don't know, let me know in the comments, but we're getting the race already underway at the end of the last sector, and we're beginning lap 14, and Kyoto is really vulnerable to the Haas of Magnussen. There he is, Magnussen is going to dive down inside. Kyoto is going to try to all around the outside, but it's going to be really hard because that Haas is way better, and Magnussen is way better than Luca at the moment, and he gets through and gets up into P8. So I think Kyoto is struggling at the moment. Definitely we are faster than him, and Hamilton is already moving up places. He's right behind us basically. He's up our gearbox, so but he's fighting a really hard time to get a move on us. So just to see, despite having a superior car, overtaking can be really challenging in this game, as now we're getting some switching going around the outside of Luca, and we made the move stick, and we are up into P5, but this is going to be virtually P12 or P13. I'm starting to think that maybe I should stay out in this set of boots, and Magnussen pits in, Kyoto pits in, and as you can see, as they pit, the rain is coming down, and maybe it wasn't a very good idea to pit. This was the worst timing that you can have, because now the rain is starting to falling, and it's coming way early that the engineer was expecting, as you could see in the strategy hub. Before starting the race, the last spot of the weather, I can say, was just a cloud of rain, but we're just in the middle of the race and we have already rained, so this can play in our favor because if we save one stop, we can be we can get out in P4 and maybe P5 because Bottas is going run outside, because I'm starting to feel a lot of tire wear in these mediums, and basically at the moment I'm a sitting duck against these guys, and there is Norris. I'm letting these guys going through because there's no point in battling, and I want to save these tires, and I rather have at the moment a P6 than risking making contact with Norris and forcing too much tires and getting a puncture. And as you can see, a few laps later, a lot of this is a few laps before, apologies for that, these guys are pitting and they are fitting the hard tires, so they're going with a strategy that it was scheduled to be if it didn't rain, and this is not a really good idea, but it can be a really good idea because possibly I can pit because I can't take the tire wear anymore, and I'm going to fall down a lot of places because I'm losing, because my tires are absolutely dead. Look at the understeer, and to make things worse, I have gearbox issue now. I lost 4th gear. I jumped from 3rd to 5th gear, as you can see in the heads-up display. So losing 4th gear is not bad at all considering this circuit. It would be much worse if it was 3rd gear. So at the moment I'm not really worried about the gearbox issue. We're just going to lose some momentum in the straight line and in some corners, but I can handle the issue at the moment because it's not that serious. But as you can see, tire wear 75%, and if you don't know, once it gets in 80%, you can get a puncture randomly. The game can give you a puncture, so that's definitely in the danger zone, and I'm struggling at the moment, and you can see the title now, and that makes sense. This is being one of my toughest races that I ever raced in my F1 career mode in general. To make things worse, we have Esteban Ocon on our tail, so it is high tire wear problems, gearbox issues, and now we have a faster car behind that is faster by 2 seconds a lap, I want to say. And maybe I'm being too nice for being just 2 seconds, but I decided that I'm going to battle these guys. I'm at the moment in P4. If it was a Ferrari or a Mercedes or Red Bull, I would let him go because there was no point, because those are mega strong. But I think I can hold Ocon, but it's going to be a hell of a task. But the rain is coming down heavier and heavier, but it's not enough for intermediates at the moment. As I'm locking up, I'm doing everything that I can, and I think we made contact a little bit with Ocon, yes, because he's going slow, so just see how much am I putting my elbows out at the moment, but it's not good enough at the moment for intermediates, because it's that situation like in the 2012 Brazilian Grand Prix. It's raining, but the tries at the moment are the best option, as we lose massively the back end because I step on the curb, and that is going to allow Daniel Kvyat to go through, and we are down into P5, but that was a hell of a save. As you can see, we managed to save the car, but yeah, the curbs are starting to get wetter and wetter, and the curbs in these conditions are absolute soap, and we're watching Kvyat's POV, and that was a spectacular save, having a fishtail, and yeah, definitely the track is starting to get worse and worse for these dry tires, and sooner or later I think it's going to be time for intermediates. I really hope that it's not going to be for the dries and for the whole race, because at the moment we are in a very privileged position, and Kvyat gets in, so I think he's going to fit intermediates, and I decided to stay one more lap because I didn't at the moment we don't have the race control decision that the DRS is not disabled, so maybe it's a sign in this game, it helps you a little bit, that if the DRS gets disabled, definitely it's time for the intermediates, but everyone is fitting the intermediates, a lot of double stack, as you can see, and we'll see if we're going to lose time to these guys, because they're going to have fresh intermediates, and probably they're going to it's going to be the best tire from now on, despite the DRS not being disabled at the moment. And we're going to lose a lot of time because we are on dry tires, and they have extreme tire wear, so we're going to lose some positions, but I think we can still get on points, because there's a lot of times that a lot of guys, apologies, that lost a lot of time due to the double stack. But here we go, and look how much I'm stalling, trying to destroy these tires because I'm tired of racing in these mediums. Finally, after 23 laps, we made 23 laps in a set of mediums in the 50% race. That is a lot. I'm really proud of my first stint. I don't know how I could carry, you know, decent pace and save and nurse the tires, but that was really tough. And like I said, you could see in the title that this was one of my hardest races, if not my toughest race in my F1 career in general. If we gather all the games in my channel, or even before my channel, before making videos, and we get out on the points, and we are under pressure Pierre Gasly. So we're on the points. Finally I can breathe a little bit. I'm feeling now better with the car. I'm trying to pull away of Gasly. I think we have equal pace. DRS now is disabled, so it's not going to help when it comes to overspeed. It's going to have just pure slipstream. At the moment I think I'm pulling away slightly of Gasly, so it's just keep my head down. I forgot to talk about the gearbox issue. It's already fixed, so the gearbox is okay at the moment, but wear is really high and we might have another not a failure but a problem. Maybe we can have, I don't know, but at the moment we don't have problems. We're keeping Gasly at base, 6 steps ahead of him, and like I said, maybe everything seems to be set to finish in the points of this Spanish Grand Prix. And let me say, I think I deserve, after what I did with the mediums and held Ocon, yeah, we made a little bit of contact, but maybe I should be a little bit aware of him. But what can I say? I had to be aggressive, because if I left a little bit of more room, it would take a chance, and that would be the last time that I would have seen in this race. And we are already in the last lap. Sebastian Vettel breaks the Mercedes dominance in Season 1 and wins the Spanish Grand Prix in the Ferrari thanks to the strategy. And we're going to score another points finish, it seems. Look at the gearbox, 70% odd, and we're going to finish just ahead of Pierre Gasly. I started to drop a little bit in these laps, 2 laps against Gasly, because I was starting to feel a little bit nervous, like, don't make a mistake, don't blow this up. I driven an awesome race, I nursed the tires pretty well, and the reward there is going to be 4 beautiful points, capital B. And like I said, I'm really happy with this race. It was tough, yes, it was super tough, but there is the reward. There is P8 for Tom Motorsport. Unfortunately, teammate couldn't score points, but it is another positive day for Tom Motorsport. Get in there.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Another Spanish Grand Prix is over, and what a special race it was. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again.
Oh man, the stress in this race was absolutely abysmal, but there he is. It is P8 at the end of the day, and yeah, I'll take that every single day of the week. 3-point score finish in a row for Tom Motorsport. Don't get used to it. And Hamilton finished outside the points, so he tried to make the 2-stop strategy, then he switched to the intermediates, and that didn't pay off. But don't get used to this, because our car is nowhere near the points at the moment. But and the next episode is going to be the Monaco Grand Prix, and we are struggling a little bit when it comes to error. So maybe Monaco is going to be a reality check, but I'm really happy. Luca finishing P16, so we couldn't score any points, and we dropped positions by scoring points, because there were guys behind us that scored more points than us. But yeah, I'm really happy with this result, really fulfilled, and yeah, it was one of the hardest races that I've ever raced in my F1 career. But there is constructors, we're in P8, we've been overtaken by AlphaTauri, but I don't care, we're ahead of Alfa Romeo, and I wasn't expecting that. I was just targeting at the moment to beat Williams and Haas. But guys, that has been my episode 6 of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if new to see plenty more Formula 1 2020 content. It really motivates me to make more, and make sure to smash the like as well, because that was a heck of episode. Next episode is going to be the jewel of the calendar, the Monaco Grand Prix. Maybe it's going to be a reality check, because downforce means absolutely everything, or mostly everything. But I'm really happy with this career mode, and I really want to thank you guys for the support that you guys are giving. It really motivates me to make more. But for now, it's time to say goodbye, and I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time.